Hello there, this is Dawn Priolet, and in this video this is a follow-up to a video that I actually did a few years ago. I feel really bad because I was supposed to do a follow-up for that video and I forgot about it, and somebody just recently made a comment about it. And so the video was EFT tapping for the paradigm of that I call the please love me paradigm, which is, in my opinion, one of the most common paradigms that I see with relationships. A paradigm meaning it's a particular pattern or a set of beliefs that you grew up with, and it has formed the way that you behave and is influencing the types of people that you choose in relationships. And so I call it the please love me paradigm because basically it's girls who were raised without a father, or maybe they had a mom and a dad that were there, but nobody really paid very much attention to them, and so they kind of have another way to put it is they have the anxious attachment style. In other words, they never really bonded very well, probably with either parent, and very, very often it's a case where dad was not there. Either he was just physically not there, or emotionally he was checked out, alcoholic, workaholic, some kind of aholic. And so I had wanted to do a follow-up video on that, and so I thought about what would be a great video to do for a follow-up is let's just do some tapping here's some tapping you can do right before you go out on a date, or if you know you're going to see somebody that you kind of like and you really kind of hoping that he likes you back. Because I'll tell you, as a reader, I would say that is the number one question that I get is, does so-and-so like me? And, you know, it's something we all hate to admit. But it's a very human thing. We want to be liked, we want to be validated and accepted. But what I find is if you tap on it and you give a voice to that little 5-year-old whose daddy maybe, pushed you off his knee, or, maybe just kind of ignored you, or was always too busy for to pay attention to you, and you always kind of come at people with this, heavy kind of grabbing energy because now you're just starving for love. It's not your fault. And if we can do the tapping, give it a voice, then we can kind of turn down the knob on that desperation, okay? Because the desperation is definitely going to push everybody away. So let's just start tapping on the karate chop point. Even though I really, really hope that this guy's going to like me, I want him to like me. And I so much hate to admit it. There's a part of me that wants to show the world that I don't really care, it doesn't matter to me. But the truth of the matter is, it would bother me very, very much if he didn't like me. It would bother me a lot. And so I'm really afraid that I'm going to show up and I'm going to be overly desperate, I'm going to be pathetic, and that is just the kind of person I don't want to be. And I love and accept myself, even though there's a little 4 or 5-year-old girl who is desperately wanting to be liked, to be loved, to have affection, There's that 4 or 5-year-old girl that felt so rejected by her father, by her mother, never really got the love she needed. And I'm willing to give her a voice right now. So now let's tap through the points. I so want to be loved. And I'm so embarrassed about it. I hate to admit it. But I am so desperate to have people like me and love me. And sometimes it makes me act a little bit crazy. A little bit too over anxious. And maybe because of that, I push a lot of men away from me, and I don't even realize it. Right now, I'm going to tap for that little child inside of me. That little child who felt lonely and unwanted. I am so, so sorry that your dad didn't seem to want you. I am so, so sorry that your mother didn't have time for you either. I am so, so sorry that you never got the love you needed. I am so, so sorry that you felt rejected most of your life. I'm so sorry. It must have been awful. Just take a deep breath and think about your situation. Think about, who was it that wasn't there for you? Who pushed you away? Who was never there for you? Did you feel ignored? Did you feel unwanted? Did you feel unwelcome in this world? Did you maybe know, perhaps even in the womb, before you were even born, that you were not wanted, that you were not welcome here? And I know it can be hard when you're coming into the world knowing very well that you are not wanted. So I want you to just think about that. I was never wanted. I felt completely rejected. And maybe I keep continuously manifesting situations where I prove to myself that I'm not wanted. Situations where I feel like I'm being rejected over and over and over again. Because maybe my basic belief in the world, ever since I was a little girl, or even before that, was that I am not wanted in this world. Maybe I even believed that I was not lovable, because if my own parents couldn't love me, there must have been something wrong with me. Take another deep breath. Just keep tapping on the heart point, right where I'm tapping in the center. And I hope that you have found this helpful. And I want to say to you, this isn't done in just one video. I really think it's a good idea for you to do this kind of tapping very often. Because every time you go out on a date, or every time, even with friendships, you probably are going to find yourself unconsciously being too over anxious, Maybe you stay too long when you go out on dates. Maybe you go out on a date and you're staying with the guy for 3, 4, 5 hours, which is crazy, you know, because intimacy takes time to build, and you wanna slow things down and create a little bit of mystery, you know, which means you don't do long dates, especially on the first 3. You want to keep them just, you know, maybe an hour, if that. But do this tapping. Try this before going out on a date, or if you're already dating somebody that you've been with and you know that this is a problem coming up for you, do this often. I would say even do it for 21 days straight. Just do this tapping. Let that little child have her say whatever she wants to say. Let her grieve, because when you give her a voice enough and let her grieve and have her sadness about that rejection, because that is horrendous for a child to be rejected, especially by your own parents. And I'm sure that this tapping will calm that down. Okay? And let me know in your comments below how this worked out for you. And if there's any other kind of video that you would like to have me do, please let me know. And I'll see you in the next video.